right, guys. Well, welcome back. Week 10 of high school sports. Week 9 was crazy.
Week 9 was a little wild. Pretty impressed with all of the offenses. a lot of points being put up in some games, and I guess it's not surprising, but at the time when I was watching some of these scores get put up, especially on Saturday,
Yeah.
I was a little bit surprised just because I felt like there were so many. Well, we'll get into it, but just surprising, fun weekend, and very happy.
All right. So, as you might hear in just a few, our metal worker is back in here today, but she doesn't have her stuff to do that, but it'll be fun. We'd like to thank our YouTube watchers or listeners, however you're doing that. Watching that number grow, me and Josh were talking about that today. It's pretty awesome, so we appreciate you. Also, to our Apple and Spotify listeners, we appreciate you as well. For our Apple and Spotify listeners, you can't see, but we're back to normal, and the title's back in view. Now, to our sponsors, we'd like to thank Appa Bagworks. Again, if you haven't checked out his Instagram page, please go do so. Again, he's working on a belt that's magnetic. That might be pretty cool for a Christmas gift for a dad, as in Josh. He's got it working for his dad. Or if you need something for the wife, he's got those wristlets, and he's got a handbag. So go check those out. If you need somebody to help you with something in General District or Circuit Court, make sure to reach out to Andrew Scruggs, attorney at law in Bluefield, Virginia. And then, as always, to the sponsor that's better than all sponsors because he's got a title, Old Town Barbershop, here located in Tazewell. He'll help you out. So now, are there any hot takes from last week? See here.
The hot take is, who is Graham? Mainly because why did it take the first month of the season for them to play the way they're playing right now? I'm just trying to reconcile what Graham was at the beginning of the season, because there's really no excuse for them to be playing the way they are now and to have played the way they did early in the season. So I guess that's a hot take. It's not really something that I've thought about. It's just something that's like in my mind, like, why did the first month of the season go the way it did? Maybe it was because they didn't get that Galax game in there.
Right.
That would have given them the opportunity to kind of iron some things out, as opposed to trying to iron them out against Bluefield or Princeton or Union. Those aren't the teams you need to iron things out against. Those are the teams that you need to roll up into and take care of business and know who you are and know what you want to accomplish. So I guess that's my hot take is, we said welcome back to the party last week, and they are the party.
I agree. So I had a hot take. I didn't write it down, and as you know, we forget. So mine's gone. But here are your 2D rankings. Number 1, Union with 26.25 points. Ridgeview at 7-1 with 23 points. Gate City 6-2 with 22.5 points. V High at 6-2 with 21.5 points. Graham at 5-3 with 20.3 points. Lebanon's going to be 5-2 because they're tied with 20.3, but they are 6-2. Richlands at 5-3 with 19.25, and then there's a huge drop off at 8 with Lee at 3-5, 15.3. Then you have Tazewell 2-6 at 13.8. John Battle at 1-7, 12.6. Central Wise 1-7, 12.3, and Marion 0-8, 10 points. And with me going through that, I remembered Marion had Fort Chiswell 15-7, and then gets blown out.
Yeah, they got blown out. disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, motivation issues maybe there in Marion.
I thought it was good because they were up 15-7, and then they just fell off the wagon.
They 100% fell off the wagon. I actually got to watch some of that game. I don't know why I got to watch that game and not other games, but I saw more about the Marion Fort Chiswell game than I saw about anything else. And yeah, I was kind of blown away with what happened in that game and how it transpired.
Well, now let's start with what might be a bloodbath. The Tazewell Bulldogs on Thursday night at 7 o'clock traveled to Richlands for a home game against the Graham G-Men.
Oh, well, where do we start? Maybe we start with Andrew Scruggs calling criminal defense attorney for Tazewell.
But he graduated from Graham, so I don't know if he could represent us.
Well, if I don't want to speak for anyone, but if you've got some money, the lawyers will come running.
That's right.
Here's the thing. So, what's left at Tazewell after last Friday, player wise?
Right.
We have ejections. We have players getting kicked off the team internally. They've gotten rid of some kids. So who's left there? And here's the thing. If you go into Graham full strength, it's still gonna be a struggle.
Yes.
I'm not trying to sugarcoat this in any way, shape, or form. It'd be a struggle with Tazewell at full strength, and now they're not at full strength. They've lost their biggest pieces, and that was up front. And what does Graham do? They absolutely dominate the line of scrimmage. The other part about it is Tazewell at the end of the season last year, we struggled against Graham, but then we end up beating Lebanon, and we kind of bump us up a little bit and make the playoffs easily. And what ends up happening with Lebanon now, and we'll get into that later. But Tazewell has an opportunity to maybe get a W at the end of the season, but what does that look like now? With half of Tazewell's offense and defensive fronts decimated by ejections and being kicked off the team, what happens with them now? Talk about Graham. 42-14 at halftime. 42-14 at halftime. I mean, what do you say about that? The Union Lebanon game, of course, Lebanon, when you watch that Union game, they had a really good game plan in the first half. They were quick throws, getting the ball out of Reese's hands and moving the ball. They scored early.
Yep.
That wasn't the case with Graham. Graham was the one who scored early. And, early points, I've talked about it with a lot of the games of the week this year. It's been a theme of mine throughout the year, is early points are paramount in a lot of these games because you can put pressure on the other team, especially if you're the home team. And Graham did that, and Lebanon folded.
Yeah, sure did.
Folded. Graham's just such a weird case study in what the PowerPoints do when you just win games, right? Because Lebanon, Virginia High, ahead of Graham. But let's be honest, if it were an AP poll, Graham would be well ahead of both of these two teams.
Yes.
Because it's head-to-head. I mean, they just annihilated those two teams. It's kind of like Notre Dame. Okay, Notre Dame's got 2 losses, but they're ahead of a lot of teams with 1 loss or no losses.
Yeah.
But you look at kind of who Notre Dame is and what they represent and how well they played. Well, Graham is that. It's what have you done for me lately? And what Graham has done has put up tons of points, limited their opponents to no points. And we're not talking about cupcakes. I mean, Virginia High, they're still ahead of them. Virginia High's only loss up to the Graham game was to Tennessee High. And that's no slouch there. But, and the the other thing with Lebanon, their only loss was to Union at Union, where it was very competitive for the first half.
Right.
The Union ran away with it late, but Graham didn't even give them that opportunity. They just absolutely annihilated them from the very beginning. Lebanon got beat up in that game. Graham physically beat them up, and I think that's a worry for Tazewell trying just to finish the season out now.
Yeah.
So this will probably be a theme today for this week, because if you looked outside the past couple of days, it's windy, it's rainy, and it's cold. What is the weather going to do to some of these scores? I don't think it matters in this one. Graham 56, Tazewell 0.
Yeah, looking at Graham, we said in the beginning, and you said it today, we weren't really sure what was going on in the beginning. They did play Princeton well, but Princeton's the number 1 team in 3A in West Virginia. So I think that was the tone setting there, and from there they just picked up speed. If Union was next week, I don't know if we're going Union's going to win that game. And they're going to probably meet Union in the playoffs. But there's been some things said on the Southwest Forum. I don't care what they say. Graham's good now. And you better watch out when it comes to playoffs, because the only team that might stand in the way this time is Glenvar. And that's because Glenvar now has a passing and run game. Last year it was just passing. That's going to be a great game if that happens. This is not going to be a great game. The Dolphins play, and if you know me, that's my team. So I'm going to stay home and warm and hope that Lamar Jackson's leg still isn't up to par. And maybe we got a chance in that one, because Tazewell doesn't have a chance. I think this game will be 60-0. So,
yeah, it's either way. It's not going to be good. I think it's one thing to note right now. If the playoffs started right now, Graham is playing a road game in the first round against a team that they just annihilated. And then on top of that, they're playing Union in the second round, not in the region championship game. So there's going to be a reckoning at this point with the points the way they are. There's going to be a reckoning earlier in the region championship. Somewhere, someone's going to make it through without having to play Union or Graham to get to the region championship game. So that's why our game of the week is gigantic.
Yes.
Coming up.
So they have Graham winning this one at 99%, 52-0. And that's kind of where we're dancing. So we'll see what happens. Now let's move to another Thursday night game. And that will be held in Marion. It's the Battle of the Two Storms. Seems kind of fitting.
It does right now.
So, the Richlands Blue Tornado, coming off their big win here in Tazewell, will travel to Marion to take on the Scarlet Hurricane at 7 o'clock on a Thursday night.
So, the Tornadoes are going to play the Hurricanes, but at this point, the Tornado is more like an EF2, and the Hurricane is more like
a tropical depression.
Yeah, because it is depressing. It's depressing what's going on in Marion really the past couple of years. I mean, we're looking at 19 in a row.
Yeah.
19 straight, or maybe 20 at this point. I don't want to keep up with those stats. But here's the thing. Richlands, they moved to 5-3. And at 5-3, they're 7th.
Right.
That's tough. That's tough. It's also tough for who has to play them in the first round. So right now they're playing the 2 seed. And who's the 2 seed right now? Ridgeview. And I don't, after what Ridgeview did with Abingdon, that's a tough matchup right now. So there's a lot at stake in these last few games for playoff seeding, because when you're talking about a 7 seed at 5-3 and getting ready to move to 6-3,
yes,
and then finishing the season off at Virginia High, so you could realistically have a 7-3 7 seed or 6 seed playing a 2 or 3 seed. That's a tough draw for a 2 or 3 seed. Now, your 2 or 3 seed might be getting away from Graham and Union.
Right.
But at the same time, still a tough draw in the first round of the playoffs to get a 7-3, 7 seed or 6 seed. I thought Richlands looked about right, kind of jumping on Tazewell early. I think they'll look to repeat that performance again at Marion. Marion has played well in the first halves of games this year. So if Richlands can have a repeat performance from Friday to Friday and jump on Marion early, you can kind of, deflate the air in that stadium, especially on a senior night where it might be emotional to begin with.
It didn't affect Richlands on a senior night in Tazewell.
No, it didn't. And here Richlands is getting one more shot at it. So, early points are at a premium in this one, just to kind of, for Richlands, get the game kind of over with in the first half. Whatever you need to do to rest your kids to get ready for the end of the season and a playoff push, I think that's what's going to happen here. Marion, where does their motivation come from? I mean, you get blown out by Tazewell. You have a lead against a team that you should beat in Fort Chisholm and then get blown out in the second half. How do you get motivated when you haven't won a game in the last 2 years or dating back 3 years now?
Yeah.
It's one thing to be playing Marion at the beginning of a season where they haven't lost a game yet, and it's a whole nother thing to be playing Marion at the end of the season when their season's gone the way it has. I'm going to come back to this. I'm putting some of these scores kind of in perspective because of the weather, because I'm not sure how some of these teams will handle the weather, especially if it's extremely blustery like it is today on a Wednesday and super cold and still spitting rain everywhere. Richlands is going to continue to roll. They moved to 6-3. I've got the score: Richlands 36, Marion 0.
So Richlands is going to go over, run the ball. They run it a lot with the quarterback. He can make some big throws to Landon and Winter. That's going to happen, whether it's raining or not. I thought Marion might be able to pull this out with a 15-7 against Fort Chisholm. Thought there was hope there, and then we saw that. I don't know if it was turnovers or what. I wanted to read the paper. I didn't make it. But it was a bad day. It was like 30-15 at one point, so you can see how bad it got for him.
I think the final score was like 36-15.
So, Richlands is going to do the same. It will be 42-6, somewhere in that ballpark once this game's over.
It's just kind of weird to pick scores when there's pending weather.
Right.
It's kind of like when we played in a hurricane a couple of years ago.
So the stats have this game 99% Richlands. We all agree with that. 50-6. So we're right there in the ballpark.
I've kind of tried to hedge my bet with the weather and just kind of go 36. But I mean, on a normal Friday night where it's dry and there's no issues, I mean, the weather can be a great equalizer.
Right.
Which in that case for Marion, that just means Richlands would score 20 points less.
So let's move into the Mountain 7 because all of their games are on Friday night. And we're going to start with a really good game. Could this be an upset with the weather? In Big Stone Gap, the Abingdon Falcons will take on the Union Bears.
Yeah, so let's just define what Union is. And Union is dominant. That's been the case in every single game. I mean, they might play with their food a little bit here and there, but in the end, they win by 21, 28, and 35 points.
Right.
I mean, when you look at the last 3 games, in the last 3 games at Union were Ridgeview undefeated, Gate City with 1 loss to a Dobbins-Bennett team who's the biggest school in the state of Tennessee, and to Lebanon, who was undefeated. And they won all of those games by 21 points.
Mm-hmm.
35-14, 42-21, and 42-21. They're dominant. And to be honest with you, they're winning by 30-plus points when you factor in everybody. I mean, they played Daniel Boone earlier in the year and won 62-3. So, just dominant. Abingdon is playing better. Man, I really thought my upset pick was going to happen.
It was close.
19-16 was the final score at Ridgeview. Abingdon is definitely playing better. I like the fact that they're able to kind of lock some teams down. I also think that that's great.
She's given her score, and we just didn't understand it.
Yeah. Abingdon's able to rely on their defense a little bit more now. I mean, they just held Ridgeview to 19 points. I really thought that Abingdon would score more points than that. They struggled to score, but they also controlled the ball a little bit. The only problem is when you're playing better and you still lose, and then you get ready to go to Big Stone Gap. That's not a recipe for winning football.
No.
Bullitt Park is not where you want to go to when you're playing better and you're still losing. Bullitt Park's a place where even if you're undefeated, just ask Lebanon, you still get throttled by 21 points. I'm not sure. I think the weather plays better for Abingdon because they do like to run the ball. I think they are getting a little more healthy, but I don't think it matters. The Bears 35, Falcons 14.
Ridgeview played a good game with Union, and they didn't come out, but they played a good game with them.
They did.
I think Abingdon is going to surprise us a little bit in this game. I think they'll be able to play for a little while, and especially with the rain, it's going to make it a run game. The Falcons play really well, but they come up short. I like Union in this one, 28-21.
Oh, okay. The weather may be a great equalizer. I think all the games, with the exception of our game of the week, because I think the weather breaks this weekend.
Right.
But I think all of these games that are being played on Thursday and Friday, you have to minimize turnovers. You have to protect the ball. It's not going to be the best weather, and I know that a lot of these teams play on turf. They play on these, perfect fields, but the ball is still wet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not muddy and slick, but it's still wet, so you have to protect the ball. And the weather can be a great equalizer if you can protect the ball.
So now we move into their rival, where the Ridgeview Wolfpack will leave the state of Virginia and go to Kentucky to take on Perry County Central. Perry County is 3-6 and 1-2 in their district.
Right, so Ridgeview got a gritty win against Abingdon, where they literally gutted it out from very start to very finish. Right. It was tight going into the fourth quarter. And now they're going to travel across the state line into Kentucky. Where did they schedule? I don't know why they scheduled this game. I mean, I get it because they're in Dickinson County and you can get over into Kentucky pretty easily. But sometimes I wonder why they go into Kentucky to get some of these schools. Perry County, 3-6, but if you look at their schedule, and you wrote their schedule down, so they have a 21-0 loss to North Laurel, and they're 5A. They lose to Bell County, and Bell County is perennially really good. They're 3A. Letcher County's 3A. South Laurel is 5A. Harlan County, 4A. Corbin, 4A. So they play a big schedule. Ridgeview doesn't really play a big schedule.
No.
They play a small schedule, and I think that changes things in the calculus in this game. Once again, the weather's going to be a factor. Who can take care of the ball? Ridgeview is going to have to really make sure that they take care of the ball when they travel over into the bluegrass. But I think they do, and I like Ridgeview 35, Perry County 21. Scoring points.
So I did not give the prediction on Union. Union's a 98% chance to win, 44-10. So we'll just clarify that real quick. So now, Perry County is 4A. So that's a big school. North Laurel, if you're just looking at their logo, they have the Jacksonville logo in their colors. That's what the logo seems to be. So they played Jacksonville there.
All right.
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah, but they lost.
They've lost a lot.
Their wins come to Paris, who is 5-4 right now, but they're a 1A school, and they beat them 40-21. They did beat a 4A school who is Whitley County. They're 1-8 though. That was a 42-6 win, and then a 3A McGoffin. I can't say the
McLaughlin.
name. McLaughlin. Yeah. County. They're 3-7, 39-8. With their losses, they had the one blowout, but they've been competitive. This might be a pretty good ball game.
It may be. Like, as much as I'd like to think what Perry County is, I have very limited knowledge once you get over into the bluegrass.
Right.
I know a lot about Northeast Tennessee and then moving east into Virginia and even West Virginia. Know a lot about West Virginia. The good Lord knows we only get West Virginia news around here. So,
right.
Yeah, we know a lot about West Virginia, but Kentucky's an unknown.
So I like Ridgeview in this one, 38-21. Now, it says Ridgeview will win this by 62%, 26-20. So
putting some points on the board. That's
could
kind
be
of close.
close.
Yeah, could be. That'll be a fun game to try to keep up with. I don't know if there's cell service over there, though.
It is Harlan County.
You're right about that.
Perry is in Harlan County. Our next game brings us back into the state of Virginia, but not too far, because it's John Battle. Could they get an upset going into Lee County?
So a couple years ago when we first started, this was a game that I was like, man, I think Battle can win this football game. I think Battle's a better team than Lee. We went into it, even though the records didn't indicate Battle being the better team, nor did the points, because wins are at a premium when it comes to power points in the state of Virginia and how they rank teams.
Yes.
Let's talk about motivation. So Lee gets a win last week against Wise Central. It was a close win. It was back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wise Central made it a fair fight.
Yeah,
and we saw what happens when Lee plays in a fair fight. They came out victorious, which I was actually kind of surprised with. I thought Central, when I started watching the score pop up on ScoreStream, I was like, oh, Wise Central going to have a shot at this one. They did. They just didn't pull it out in the end. I think that win against Central kind of shuts the door on the playoffs, especially when you think about who Tazewell has left,
right,
and who Lee is getting ready to play. Marion may have motivation issues. Well, I think Battle's going to have motivation issues too. I mean, how do you get up for a game where you're going to travel all the way over to Lee County into Ben-Hur to five-star General Stadium and play the Generals? What is that motivating factor? Sometimes it's hard to motivate kids when you're winning and their girlfriend talks to another guy at school, and then all of a sudden the starting quarterback can't see straight because all he can think about is his girlfriend said hello to another person in the hallway, right? So they're losing their minds for that reason too. I mean, we're talking about 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. Motivation's a hard thing, especially when you're, 1-7. Turnovers. Battle does not handle the ball very well, and the weather may be a factor. I think turnovers are a huge factor in this one. So, final score, Trojans 14, Generals 28.
So, I picked Wise last week, hoping to get Tazewell closer to the playoffs. But Lee was in a dogfight.
They were.
They were in a dogfight. And the last time John Battle was in a dogfight, it was with Wise. And they come out victorious.
That's true.
So with me looking at the picture that way, I've got a soft spot for them. But I like John Battle. I like their colors. And I think that they come out with a win in Ben-Hur, 28-27 Trojans.
Woo! I like that.
So now...
That's way different than my score. Way different.
They have this game 77% for Lee, 40-28. And I think if John Battle can get in a fight here, they might be able to pull it out.
I mean, here's the thing. If you can make it a fair fight with Lee, you got a shot.
Yep.
You can make it a fair fight. Just come out, play good, solid ball, hold on to the football, don't turn it over, stay ahead of the sticks, keep moving, stay on schedule when you have the football, and put some points on the board and just see what happens. Early points.
Yes.
Early points. If you can get some early points or get a takeaway early in the game and put points on the board, change the momentum like that.
So now our next bloodbath is Wise Central travels to Gate City to take on the Blue Devils.
I did not make that shot. So Central had a shot last week against Lee and came up, painstakingly short. Like Abingdon, playing better and losing, that's not a good recipe when you're having to travel to a district, the top tier of the district.
Yeah.
So Abingdon's playing well, but they lost, and now they're traveling to Bullitt Park. And then you look at Central, they played well, but they lost, and now they're traveling to Legion Field. These are not recipes for winning football.
No.
Especially the way Gate City's been playing all year long, with the exception of the Union game, because they played great against Dobbins-Bennett. They played really well against Dobbins-Bennett. I think that this could be a trap game for Gate City.
Uh-oh.
Who do they play next week?
I haven't even looked.
Well, I think they play Ridgeview, don't they?
Yes, they do.
So they play Ridgeview next week. They're in a dogfight for 2 and 3, which is a big difference between hosting at home in Gate City, or traveling all the way to the Ridge. I think that's a huge difference. Thank you so much.
It's all good.
I appreciate that. So they're in a dogfight for that. Could they be looking towards that big game while the weather plays a role in this one against a team that's playing better? Can they overlook a Central team that should be dead to rights losing this one? I mean, you'll tell me what the percentage is, but I bet it's in the 90s. But that's why you have to play the game, because there are things called trap games, and could this be one? No. The City 38, Central 7.
Yeah, I don't think this one would be a trap game. If we were talking more on the lines of Lee or Richlands, we might have a trap there.
Oh, absolutely.
But no, Gate City's going to walk out 42-12. Now, percentage, it says 99%. Ooh, 52-0.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right there.
I don't see that, but maybe.
It is what it is.
Maybe they decide that they're going to, Gate City's just going to crush them.
We're going to have to buy Corey some cups.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
My daughter is pretending to drink all of the cups and throw them on the floor.
So, with all that being said, I hadn't said that yet. Ooh, but there you go. We are now on Monday night. So are you going to watch Monday Night Football or Monday Night High School Football? It's our game of the week. The Old Town Barbershop game of the week is the Virginia High Bearcats will travel to Pioneer Park to take on the Lebanon Pioneers.
Pioneer Park.
I don't know what it's called.
I love that, though. It should be called that. I love Pioneer Park. All right. So, massive playoff implications here. Massive playoff implications for the winner. Let's just talk about Lebanon first. What in the world? Is this the same old Lebanon that we got last year? And realistically, throughout the last few years. And why is that? Here's my theory. Lebanon still plays a schedule that's a holdover from the Hoga-Higi, because I think deep down inside, Lebanon has never, over the past 25 years, Lebanon has never felt like a Southwest District school. They've never felt like a Southwest District school. They felt like a Hoga-Higi school. When they had success in football in the early 90s, they weren't in the Southwest District anymore. They dropped down to single A, and they were in the Hoga-Higi. I think that they want to be a Hoga-Higi team through and through, and in their blood, they're a Hoga-Higi team. The problem is, Hoga-Higi is a single A district. It's a single A district.
Right.
Lebanon is 2A. Lebanon, you are 2A. Own it. I mean, they owned it in baseball, and they really enjoyed playing bigger schools.
Right.
But if you look at Lebanon's schedule, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. If you look at Lebanon's schedule, it's a Hoga-Higi schedule. Rural Retreat, Patrick Henry.
Right.
I mean, when you think about it, John Battle, when you're going back a long time ago, when John Battle was single A, I think John Battle, deep down inside, I think they feel like they're a single A. They're still single A. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think that's the problem. So when Lebanon front loads their schedule with teams that are single A and they beat up on them, they're like, oh, you know, there we are. We're winning the Hoga-Higi. And then at the end of the season, they're like, oh, well, you've lost all your games in the district. The other thing is Lebanon can't control the line of scrimmage. They can't control the line of scrimmage. And that's just due to, you know, some inexperienced and young guys that are up front, because the two guys they have in the backfield are monsters. But a good offensive line can make a good back great, and a bad offensive line can make a great back very bad. And that's what's happened the past couple of weeks. Virginia High, we hadn't talked about Virginia High in a while, I feel like they've just kind of skirted off into oblivion. They had a weird game against Grayson County where they have to go back on a Monday night, and then they come back and they play Tazewell, and Tazewell kind of plays really well against them, but Virginia High only practiced basically a day and a half for Tazewell. They get an off day or an off week, and then go and play Graham and just get annihilated and just kind of like forget about Virginia High. Just kind of forget about them, like they've been annihilated by Graham and their season's kind of over. Well, the fact of the matter is it's not over. They're getting ready to play quite possibly for a 5, or depending on how things play out at the end of the season with the Mountain 7, even a 3 seed. Just because the amount of points that they're going to get if they win this game, and Tennessee High has been playing really well. I think their season ends this Friday. So they're looking at more points there. I think this game is going to come down, and the keys to victory for this game for both teams is going to be protect the football at all costs. When you have it, keep it. And if you don't have it, get it back. That's the best recipe to play winning football that anyone could ever have. Keep the ball, get it back when you don't have it. So handle the weather. The pressure, I think, is on Lebanon because Lebanon is getting a repeat of what they've done last year. And I think that if Virginia High can maybe jump on them or at least play with them early, even if it's 7-7 or scoreless after the first quarter, or going into halftime tied, I think the doubts start to creep into Lebanon. Like, here we go again. Here we go again. So I think that you just have to stay on schedule, on the scoreboard with Lebanon. I think Lebanon needs to jump on Virginia High early, create the doubt, give them some confidence. I think Lebanon is lacking confidence right now. You know, they go into the Union game. They play well for a half, get blown out, and then I think they just kind of carry that over to Graham, and Graham gets to see Union kind of dominate Lebanon up front. So I think Virginia High sees the recipe to beat Lebanon. It's just whether or not can they do it. Can they dominate the line of scrimmage the way both Union did for the second half and the way Graham did from Jump Street. I didn't write a score down because I got busy doing other things today. But what my gut is telling me is that Lebanon is reeling and Virginia High is just ready to pounce. I think Virginia High has kind of been non-existent since that Graham game, but I think they reassert themselves here. I like Virginia High. The Bearcats, 28, Lebanon, 17.
So it never goes well when me and Josh pick the same in the game of the week. Ever. But Lebanon's pulling the same thing they did last year. Start off strong, and now they're starting to dwindle away. They do have the best quarterback in the Southwest and Mtn 7. You put him on any team, and they're a winning team. You put him with Union or Graham. Good grief. But he's not. He's at Lebanon. And I appreciate him staying where he's at. It means a lot.
That means a ton.
Yeah.
A lot of character for that kid.
Yes, because I know there were some people trying to get him to go elsewhere, and he didn't go. He stayed. So kudos to Reese for staying. But, man, V-High's got a lot of talent, man.
They do. They've got speed.
They got talent. And I think the talent shows in this one. I like the Bearcats as well. 35-32. So,
you know, some of these games I put more of a premium on the weather, and some of them I didn't.
right.
I think the weather may have a lot to do with this game. The only problem is it's not played on Friday or Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. It's played on Monday night.
And the only thing that's bad for this is Lebanon then has to turn around and play a game on Friday that really matters.
It's going to matter an awful lot. The only problem is, what does Tazewell look like when they get to Lebanon? What does Tazewell look like when they get to Lebanon after they had players ejected? 5 game ejections that are going to carry over to next year for kids that don't graduate.
Right.
And then they also kicked kids off because there are discipline issues at Tazewell, and it's been that way for a while. And I think this coach has come in and put his foot down to clean it all up. And, it stinks that it happened now, but it had to happen at some point, I think. And kudos to Coach Padgett for putting his foot down. And, he's the one that, at the end of the day, those wins and losses, sure, they're with the kids, but coaches take those.
Yep.
They take the losses. They give the wins to the kids, and they'll take the losses. So, what am I supposed to say now that my child has just screamed because my other child picked her up? I don't know.
It's all good.
I just lost my train of thought.
So, all right, let's hear about the team down the road that you've got a soft spot for.
Yeah, Hidden Valley. Oh, man. They got blanked again. And, I'd like to say, well, they're playing better. They're not. They are playing better compared to some of the scores they had last year.
Yeah.
They were getting beat 90-0, 70-0 in games last year. So they are playing better. Theme of the week, playing better but still losing, and then traveling to a really good, perennially really good football team. They host Salem.
Ooh.
So at least they get them at home, but that's not a team you want to play towards the end of the season when your season hasn't gone the way you would want it to go.
And Salem's mid-pack right now. They're kind of like Graham. So
They are mid-pack. They haven't had some talent drop off the past couple of years. But they've got really good running back playing at Tennessee, Peyton Lewis.
hey, there you go. So Eastside's still rolling. Rock Cove's third.
Rye Cove. What happened to Rye Cove?
I don't know.
They got beat by Chilhowie. Chilhowie. I told you that surprise team. You know, the other thing is in 1A, we talked about this earlier. I talked about Rural Retreat because they were scoring so many points early and that they could be a dark horse. They're 3-6. They're not a dark horse anymore.
No.
But the scary thing is they can score points. And what they do 2 years ago with Honaker, they played Honaker at the end of the season and played them tough. And they are the 8 seed, and they have to play Honaker again and almost beat them in the playoffs.
So there you go.
Hey.
Chilhowie could be the team to watch out for.
Chilhowie's going to be the 2 seed now.
Oof. Yeah, they are the 2 seed right now.
They're the 2 seed. Could you imagine when you watched Chilhowie play against Tazewell in the benefit game? They lose their quarterback. That final score was 10-9?
Yeah.
10-9. Did you ever think that Chilhowie was going to go and beat Rye Cove, have only one loss on the season? I can't even remember where that loss came from, and be the number 2 seed in Region D 1A. I didn't see that happening. So, hey, Reed Sturgill, head coach at Chilhowie, has the Warriors playing well in Chilhowie, the Valley of Many Deers.
But that quarterback, that wasn't because she got picked up. She's just not happy. And it's okay. But the quarterback at Chilhowie is really good. But now, I can feel my blood sugar dropping. I'm really hungry. Where are you going to eat at? Let's go game of the week because I know where I'm going.
In Lebanon?
Yep.
I really like to go to the Willow. It's a little coffee shop right on Main Street, right across from the school, right across from the field. You get there, get you a cup of coffee because, it's going to be chilly at night. Get you a cup of coffee, go over to the game, enjoy yourself. They do have a good beer selection. They have some good little hors d'oeuvre type foods. Yeah, so I like the Willow.
For me, I'm going to go to the Pioneer. And I'm going to get a double cheeseburger and some tater tots. That's what I'm doing.
Well, you can't beat that.
No.
Cannot beat that.
So, before we head out, you got anything?
Just keep your Hidden Valley Titans, just keep them in your prayers, and maybe they'll surprise everybody and play really well against Salem.
All right, so you all know the saying. Stand up.
Come here.
All right, you know the saying. As the barter said,
if you like us, talk about us. If you don't, keep your mouth shut.
there you go.
Go Vols.
Go Fins.